Live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Pull out your smartphone, save our hotline number in your phone. At some point you may need it, 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
670-7372, that's REQB.
Baby.
And we want you to bookmark our website, consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, the finest folks in over 80 show areas, show categories of consumer advocacy, going to help you win in any marketplace, give you that helicopter view of the market, and make you just a bit more street smart out there on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We want to help you win. Giving a big shout out as well to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach. It's our official hotel partner. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and they're going to get a 15 to 20% discount off of your stay at the beautiful Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude, whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites overlooking the intercoastal waterway. The Hotel Zamora on beautiful St. Pete Beach. You got to check it out. The Castillo restaurant as well. Lunch and dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Beautiful place to be. And let's go around the horn now. Make our introductions. Fred Muth back in studio, and welcome back in Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
Hello, Tampa Bay. Morning drive. Good luck, everybody. Use on I-75. My heart goes out to you. Anyway, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. We've been around since 1989, a long time before I was born. Just kidding. Our specialty is building patios, pool enclosures, screen rooms, lanais. We do carports. We do service, and we do repairs. Please call us at any time regarding a free estimate at 813-960-7064. Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
Awesome, Fred Muth also. All right, around the horn here, Paul Bundschu, Sales Manager, One Stop Cooling and Heating. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My subject of the day is going to be when to replace your air conditioner. That's one of the top things that when I see people, they always ask me, should I replace it? Should I fix it? So that's something that I'd like to go over with everybody. One Stop Cooling, all your heating and cooling needs, 813-749-7966.
All right. Chuck Peterson also in the house. He's the Executive Director, Suncoast Roofing. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. Good to be here. Good to see everybody or hear everybody today. As our name says, we're a roofing company. We do repairs, re-roofs, every kind of roofing that's out there, residential and commercial. So we're just going to go over some ideas today and some tips. And we're local here in town, so give us a ring, 813-867-7050.
Awesome. Yeah, consumer tips. We're going to help you win in any marketplace, talking about the trades today, a lot about, helping you from a perspective of a buyer. What are the questions to ask? What are the intelligent questions to ask? And how can you avoid, some of the nonsense out there that we're seeing in the marketplace? So that's the goal of the show today. And as you know, I'm a published author and a professional speaker, so we always start off with a little personal development and ways that you can grow your business if you're in the business space, or potentially just grow in general. But what we want to talk about today is developing the discipline of clear thinking. And what you want to do anytime you're making a big decision, something involving money, relationships, your career, a big decision comes across your plate, what you want to do is develop the discipline of clear thinking. You want to slow things down. You want to think about it as a bucket of silt. You got a bucket of dirt sitting there, and it's all shook up. The longer you wait and you let that settle to the bottom, the water is going to become more clear. And that's what happens in your mind. You take longer times to make decisions. And if someone pressures you for a yes or no decision, you say, listen, if you have to know right now, the answer is no. But if you give me time to think about it, then I may change my mind. It may be a yes. But I've got to wait and understand more about this decision and gather facts. So developing the discipline of clear thinking is what Thomas Edison called, he's quoted here as, thinking is the hardest of all disciplines, from Thomas Edison. And the rule is you want to think on paper. You write it down, you write all the details down, the pros, the cons, the costs, the people that are involved. And if you're in business, you want to think about it from a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Go through those, analyze those each. You got legal to concern. And so the discipline of clear thinking is crucial to your success. So there's your quarterback tip for today. And we're going to have Peyton Manning help us with that audible. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So you got Fred Muth here, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And what are you seeing out there in the market, man?
Every time I come on the air, I make the same statement about how difficult it is to get to the job sites anymore because of the traffic, the cement mixer trucks, the dump truck, now the cranes. I see the cranes, they hold everything up. Deja vu from 2004. Yep. That's okay. We'll put up with it. And my hat goes off to the roofers, though. Even though we're in the screen business, I see these guys up on the roofs. Boy, you guys should get paid better than lawyers. I think so.
I'm all in.
I hope them last guys aren't listening. But anyway, the business is phenomenal. It's very good. We're probably taking, 20 leads a day at least, and we try to handle them in the best manner that we can. It's not that easy. We try to get the scope of work, the customer to talk about the scope of work, and then, of course, in some cases we try to get a budget number up front so that we know how big of a room that we can design for them, et cetera. But things are very good. The houses are selling, and 1,800 square foot home. Let me put 900 square foot of screen enclosure on the back of your house. Yeah. You'll spend a lot of time out there.
And it's going to add a lot to the after value as well.
Absolutely.
If you do decide to sell, right?
Or you would know that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to help you on the opposite side of that transaction. It's going to help you just enjoy that property. I love to call it that in-between space. It's not under air. It's not your AC. But when you're out in that beautiful area in the backyard, you're enjoying the Florida scenery of what we have here. A lot of times you got the oak trees in the back or the palm trees and just hanging out. And then you've got really cool designs, too, that can be done when you look at pool. You're having a pool enclosure. Last time you were on the show, you talked about some really neat indoor landscape as well.
Oh, yeah, I have one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see that customer today. We finished the job last week, and they did not want the standard enclosure. They wanted this enclosure to be built to house their exotic plants.
Nice.
And it's 2 or 3 that I've sold like that in my history of this business. I've enjoyed coming up with something a little different than the ordinary average enclosure.
Yeah.
We see the same thing, concrete patio and pavers, et cetera. We see so many of these, but when somebody wants to become artistic and develop something different, it really makes my day.
Yeah, I love that. The uniqueness. That's what I appreciate about real estate as well, as I see a lot of different properties, as you know, with Platinum MVP Realty and some of the things we're doing in the community. It's just gorgeous. You go around. I spend some time down there at the Zamora often on the weekends, and some of those beautiful properties, you're able to extend your living area by adding a screen aluminum structure onto the back of the property.
I agree. As a matter of fact, we've been in our house 30 years. I shouldn't tell you that. You try to sell me a new one, right?
Yeah.
And I'm on the second enclosure. As a matter of fact, the fellow sitting in the room here, Glenn, he's one of my coworkers. He'll be sitting in on the show from time to time. He's the guy that built it. By the way, the roof doesn't leak anymore, Glenn. We got that straightened out.
Okay. We need to fix that. We like leaks every now and then.
This is the aluminum roof. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So, we went from 30 by 10, which my wife and I, we thought that was big. We thought we were like, wow, we got a big screen room. Now that I'm in the business, it's now 60 by 15.
Nice.
So, and we spent a lot of time out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great place to enjoy it. It really is. You get out there and you just enjoy that between time, the time between the inside and the outside. And when you look at from a perspective of the building and the real estate market, an investment into your property, especially now Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Bradenton, Sarasota, the property values are improving, and they are going to continue to do so. We got over 1,000 people a week, or 1,000 people a day, moving to the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida.
And you think it's too much. However, I took a trip over the weekend to Cape Coral.
Yeah.
And the first 15, 20 minutes of the ride, was a lot of commerce. And then I would say the last hour of the drive was nothing but land.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of land in Florida. Keep
That's
coming
right.
down, Northerners. Come on. Let's
Come on
go.
down. Let's drive
Bring it
this
down.
economy. Let's build this economy. Let's keep growing it. And that's kind of the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. I think a lot of the West Coast side, wants to have it somewhat, reeled in a little bit over versus some of the municipalities that is from Miami Beaches and in the Fort Lauderdale areas. But yeah, in general, you look at Port Charlotte, Northport, a lot of those areas, a lot of room to grow in the beautiful Sunshine State here in Tampa Bay. So we appreciate you tuning in and listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to invite you to a free event that we have coming up on Friday the 21st right here at iHeartRadio. It's a free digital marketing and business growth seminar, 3 to 5:30 at iHeart. And what you want to do is learn more to earn more. We're going to have experts in the space of business and digital marketing helping you understand more about your business. So it's Friday, April 21st, 3 to 5:30. And then one of the best parts to some is that at 5:30 we're taking over to Hula Bay, our official restaurant partner, for a nice happy hour and also networking as well. So great networking opportunity and more from our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to help you win, make you more street smart, and understand things happening out there in the marketplace. Stay with us. Do not touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show right here on iHeartRadio. And please check out realestateradiotampa.com to buy or sell real estate and see all of his expert contributors. Thank you.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. My name is Brandon Rhymes. I'm the host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, also the owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and a former USF football player. Real excited about a lot of the growth happening around Tampa Bay athletics and sports in general. A lot of the economic conditions, things are happening in Tampa Bay and on and popping, as they say, right? So we got the Hula Bay. Want to give a big shout out to Hula Bay. It's our official restaurant partner. Quarterback show here. Say hello to Todd. He's the manager over at Hula Bay. Let him know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. You're going to have free water with lemon. He's going to hook you up. You got the best waterfront ambiance in all of Tampa Bay. You've got sushi, wide variety on the menu, and it's located right here in South Tampa, just off of West Shore, 5710 Tyson Avenue in beautiful South Tampa. On the weekends, you got the awesome bands playing downstairs at the Duke's retired surfer bar as well, and Freedom Boat Club location over there. Great place to be on the weekends is Hula Bay, and that's our official restaurant partner. Real excited about a lot of the things happening around Hula Bay, and we got our event coming up as well on April the 21st, Friday, April 21st. We got a free event. You got to RSVP, though, and it's Friday, April 21st, 3 to 5:30, right here at iHeartRadio. We're going to have a digital marketing and business growth seminar, but you've got to RSVP. How can you RSVP? Real simple. Go to consumerqb.com. Just click on the contact form, submit an email. Let us know you're RSVPing for that event. Business owners, managers, if you want to learn how to dominate online, learn how to do some of the advanced techniques in digital marketing, talking about retargeting. You ever been shopping online and all of a sudden you see those pair of shoes or that suit you're looking at or whatever you're shopping for? It follows you around Facebook, follows you around. It's called retargeting. A lot of these new techniques are in that space. So digital marketing seminar, Friday the 21st, right here at iHeart, 3 to 5:30. Happy hour to follow over at Hula Bay. All right, we're back here in studio, live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida here. Having a lot of fun today, and we're talking with Fred Muth here. He's Tampa Screens and Aluminum. We're also going to bring Paul Bundschu in the conversation as well. He's the sales manager, One Stop Cooling and Heating, as well as Chuck Peterson, executive director, Suncoast Roofing as well. So, Fred, what else are you seeing out there, man?
Well, as I said before, it's just there's a lot of business coming at us, and I think we have at least 3 or 4 more years of continuous upgrade business like we're seeing right now. And
Sure.
I'm what's your opinion of that, being in the real estate business?
Well,
Is it 3 to 4, you think?
I think we're gangbusters, man. You know what happened is when the mortgage meltdown happened, Congress acted and they put in the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. They put in a lot of these checks and balances that we needed. There was prior to that, there was a lot of scale back in regulation. Some would even say it's an overreach now in regulation. So as far as people talking about warning about a new bust and the mortgage, what's going to happen again, we're far from that. I don't see that happening anytime soon. And it's really good, consistent growth. See, that's what we want. We want that 4 to 5% growth, that 7 to 8% growth. That's good, nice, consistent growth. That what we had back then was 18, 20%, 30% year over year, and it was just too much.
Yes, it was frightening. At the time it was going on, I kept saying, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? If I only knew, However, in the business, as far as our business goes, the patios, screens, and pool enclosures, I always encourage the homeowner, if they're taking bids on such a project, to ask a lot of questions.
Yep.
There's even though they seem fairly simple, the enclosures, there's questions that homeowners should inquire about regarding design and structure, etc., long before the product is built. We encourage the questions prior to. This way, when the product is done, they know exactly what they were going to get. And I've been in this business for 25 years, and I've heard homeowners specifically say the last representative from your competition, he was reluctant to answer questions.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're trying to keep it simple, make a sale, but it's construction. I mean, I'm not selling something that's in my pocket. This is construction. We're selling a project.
Yeah.
So.
Some of those questions would be, how is this going to impact my homeowner's insurance? Or how,
they'll ask this. They'll ask this, and I get that constantly. And I also get the question about, is it going to increase the value of the property? And because I carry a real estate license as well, and I like to tell people, without fail, it's going to increase it. However, depending on the market at the time, and I specifically tell them that if your house has the cage and the house next door doesn't, I think your house will sell quicker.
Right, absolutely. No, absolutely. He's Fred Muth. I'm Brandon Rhymes here at Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. And let's go ahead and bring Paul Bundschu in the conversation here, sales manager, One Stop Cooling and Heating. So when you see the marketplace, things happening in your area, what are you seeing out there?
Well, Brandon, we have a number of different items that people will look at. You have the people that are looking for the cheapest system out there.
Right.
It's all about $1. But what people don't understand is the comfort factor. The higher end systems they're complete comfort systems. They don't just cool your house, they dehumidify your house. They take care of the dirt and dust that's in your house, pollen issues. They purify your air. They're just a much better system all the way around. Trying to get people to understand is kind of difficult, though, because they get that $4,000 price tag,
Right.
And when you talk about a complete comfort system, you're talking about a $10,000 price tag or more. Like the Dave Lennox Signature Series or the Carrier Infinity Series, those systems are high-end systems, but they do a lot more than just cool your air. They keep your house comfortable. Those are the type of systems, if you're going to be in your house for a long period of time, those are the type of systems you definitely want to look into. And there's a lot of different financing options out there, and that to help offset those prices. Those systems are very efficient, and they cost very little to operate, as compared to the lower end systems. In keeping in mind, the average life of a unit in Central Florida is 9 to 12 years.
Yeah.
And if you haven't changed or had your unit serviced very much in the past 10 years, you're probably going to be in for a shock, because you probably have the old R22 Freon, which they don't make anymore, and it's running well over $100 a pound now. So
Yeah.
just to have somebody come in and top off your system,
Right.
it's going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Let's talk about that aspect. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Paul Bundschu. He's a sales manager of One Stop Cooling and Heating, an expert contributor here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. But Paul, that's one of the most important things people can do is get that service done. Is it quarterly? Is it monthly? What do you recommend?
Either every 6 months or every year.
Okay.
It really depends on the people's preference. The manufacturers all say to keep your warranty intact, you have to have it serviced by a licensed contractor once a year.
Right.
Some people prefer to get it done every 6 months, once in the spring, once in the fall, so that they're sure that they're operating at maximum efficiency when that season hits.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. And one of the big things, too, is indoor air quality. So you kind of touched on that when you were talking earlier. What are you seeing in that space?
There's a lot of different options out there. I mean, you can go crazy, or you can go real basic. The most basic part of an indoor air quality is changing your filter once a month.
Yeah.
Or every 90 days, like, some of the filters are 90-day filters. But increasing your indoor air quality, you can go to a 4-inch media filter, which is, you change that once a year. You also have UV bulbs that you can put inside your air handler. Those have to be serviced once a year also. Then you can get into like an Air Night air purifier that goes in your duct stream, and it kills all the viruses and everything that blows through your air. All the way up to the Carrier Infinity air purifier, or the Dave Lennox Signature Pure Air purifier. Those are two of the best air purifiers out there, and they have what they call a capture and kill system. It captures all the particles and all the contaminants in your air, and in the air blowing through your house, and it basically kills them. Takes down to almost the most minute speck of dust in your house and captures it.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That's strong. So I think that's such a big area when you look at what's happening in the United States. You look at the quality of the food, the different things happening, and then the susceptibility of being in a position where the indoor air quality could cause lung cancer. There's things that could happen there. So that's interesting. So you have a service that you offer to where people can have the vents or the ducts treated?
Yeah, yes, we do. We also have that. We have a duct cleaning system. Where we'll come out, we can clean your ductwork, sanitize all your ductwork. It's a very specialized system. It's not, and we don't just come and vacuum out the where the
it's visible,
where the visible duct is. That's what a lot of companies that's cleaning duct work.
Yeah.
We actually have a very expensive machine that cleans your duct work.
Wow.
and captures all those particles.
That sounds like something I want to do. I'm going to talk to you more about that after the show. But that's something you definitely want to do to keep down those toxins. Something similar is cleaning your carpets. Once a quarter, or once every, a couple times a year. Your carpets are a huge sponge. They're going to absorb a lot of that stuff. And more from our expert contributors, Paul Bundschu, sales manager, One Stop Cooling and Heating. We're also going to hear from Chuck Peterson. He's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. So we're Intelligent Talk Radio. We're helping you win. We're helping you understand more about the components of your properties, your real estate here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. Giving a big shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service. They do a great job cleaning our real estate properties. 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids Cleaning Service. They are referred for a reason. Also, shout out to Source One Solutions. Robert Hessel and his team do a great job protecting your home or office. The official security partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, Source One Solutions, utilize Honeywell technology, and that's Robert Hessel with Source One Solutions, longtime friend of the program here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. Just listed this property out in Valrico Road. It's 2606 North Valrico Road. Attention builders, developers. This is an 84-acre parcel of land that I have listed here. $1.79 million out in East Hillsborough County. Great buying opportunity, as well as 0 Rue de Lac, Tarpon Springs here, and it's $299,000, and a great opportunity to build a custom dream home on a 1.3-acre lot, and it's on a bluff, so if you look out, you can see you got views of Lake Tarpon right there in Tarpon Springs. So $299,000 just reduced. So any builders, developers, we'd love to hear from you about that property and more by reaching out to our hotline, 813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline, 670-7372, and that's REQB. And if you want to check out our website, consumerqb.com.
Welcome to my house.
All right, we're back here in studio, live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida here. We're talking with Paul Bundschu, sales manager, One Stop Cooling and Heating, and we're going to hear shortly here from Chuck Peterson, executive director of Suncoast Roofing. So, Paul, what else are you seeing in that AC space, man?
Well, as far as air conditioning goes, like I said, the indoor air quality, that's a huge factor. You know, you've got all the pollen and all the contaminants we have here in Florida. A study was done by the EPA, and the indoor air quality in your house is 10 times more polluted than the outside air.
Wow.
So, and that's straight from the EPA. So, if you don't take care of your indoor air, you're not really taking care of your health.
Man, that's hard to believe. So, the study was done, and it's 10 times less.
It's
clean.
crazy.
Wow. So what is that attributed to? Is that because I've heard also when you think about the drywall that's used, it's a gypsum board, right? So it offsets sulfur. I've heard that before.
It has a lot to do with the way the houses are built now. You know, our houses are all built so tight that it keeps everything inside. Where in the old days, everything leaked and that was allowed to pass through the windows and all the cracks in the house.
Right.
So, you know, now it's all contained in the house and it can't get out.
Yeah.
Well. And you know, let's face it, kids don't go outside anymore. You know, they sit inside. True. They sit inside on their devices. They aren't running in and out of the house like when we were raised.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, you think about that. The indoor air quality, that's something that definitely you got to think about. So what's the solution? Changing the filters. We talked about having these services done.
Keeping your filters changed. Investing in an air purifier.
Right.
You know, you can get an Air Night in there, and they're pretty reasonable, and they do a really good job on knocking the pollen down, knocking all the contaminants down in your house, taking care of the VOCs. If you burn something in your kitchen, it absorbs that smell so that you don't get that smell going through your whole house.
What's a VOC?
Volatile organic compound.
Okay.
It's
interesting.
It's basically like if you burn something, you burn something in Thanksgiving Day, and you get that odor in your house.
Okay.
So, and it basically takes care of all that.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, Paul Bundschu, sales manager, One Stop Cooling and Heating, and a new partner on the Quarterback Show, expert contributor. Now we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about roofing here. One of your number one things in Florida you want to think about as well as your air conditioning is your roof. So Chuck Peterson, he's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. What are you seeing out there, sir?
Brandon, glad to be here. Same thing the rest of the guys are seeing. I mean, growth is pretty phenomenal. We're mostly in the re-roof business, so we don't get to the new construction, but just the sheer volume of what's happening out in Tampa Bay or anywhere in Florida for that matter. We have offices all over the state actually, and it's a heavy volume business right now everywhere.
Wow,
I mean, it's all over.
Yeah, you guys are statewide. I know in previous conversations you talked about the effects of the storm.
Yeah,
last year.
On the East Coast, the roofing business is as good as it gets for us, knock on wood. But I mean, the storm was a pretty big hit on the East Coast. Over here on the West Coast, we've been pretty fortunate and haven't had to deal with any of that. So over here, it's just steady business as usual.
We did have a close call. What was that last year? Was that Debbie or which one was that? It came up
Colin.
and hit Hernando a little bit. Colin.
Yeah, it came up and more water than wind, but it was a pretty good storm. I mean, time's coming, but for roofing, I mean, we're steady over here. We like I said, we do mostly re-roof business, so we do residential, commercial, metal tile, shingles. We're the master elite contractors for GAF. So we do pretty much everything there is to do on a roof.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Chuck. And by the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and we're talking with Chuck Peterson. He's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. What are some of the, as we're a consumer advocate-based show here, we want to help consumers understand their buying decisions. We like to make them a bit more street smart here and give them that helicopter view. What are some of the key questions that a homeowner or a business owner should ask if they're looking at a potential re-roof opportunity?
Well, the same as the rest of these guys on the show. I mean, mostly we have to educate the consumer on what roofing is, just like Fred does for what screen enclosures are, and Paul does for ACs. You can buy the cheapest thing on the lot if that's all you want to do is get the cheapest thing on the lot. But if you educate the consumers, they'll tend to go with the product that makes the best value for their dollar.
Right.
And that's where we come in. We have the best value for the dollar for the product. As far as roofing goes, in Florida, the old roofs, the roofs before the 2004 hurricanes, all those that material is not made to withstand Florida heat like the codes require things to be done now. Brandon, as you know, being a realtor, codes have increased tremendously what we do on houses for any of us in here.
Right.
And the roofing's no different. The products are better. The warranties are better. I would tell the consumers out there to check with anybody they deal with on something to do with their roofing, check the warranties. I mean, the guys that are going to be there today and gone tomorrow don't do you much good if they can't stand behind you spending $10,000 on your roof. You call the guy the next month or year or whatever, and he's out of business.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because we've seen that happen. Companies will utilize a shell. They're not licensed. They're licensed and maybe have insurance, but they're not bonded.
Right.
I think that's a big one, right?
Right. I mean, the Hillsborough County requires all of the contractors to be bonded through the county, but the state, we have to have, everybody's licensed in the state just to pull a permit. The consumers have to make sure guys are getting permits to do their houses because you can clearly work around that if you're not above board guy.
Yep.
But as far as the warranties go, it's just it's the same as with any other product we've got out here. I mean, the roofing warranties, if they're transferable when you sell that house for them, right? Do they get to transfer that warranty or not? Do they just get a manufacturer's warranty, which goes away over time, or do they get a standard? We as master elite contractors, we can offer actually a 50-year warranty on a shingle.
Wow.
Well, in Florida, that's a pretty big deal. 50 years and it's backed by GAF, which is the largest shingle company in the country. Plants right outside of Tampa. Headquarters are in the USA. I mean, they're going to been here around 100 years. So, the warranties because roofing is, like everything else. I mean, there's a lot of guys that do it, but what's good for you is, is somebody going to be there a year from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, if something goes wrong.
Wow. Yeah, that's a key question. And let's talk a little bit about solar.
Okay.
I know you guys don't do solar, but
no, we deal with solar.
If the homeowner gets that question, solar's a big trend.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
I mean, the solar guys, we do a lot of work around the solar guys because the roofing companies and the solar companies and the screen companies as well have to all work together because we're all hitting the same part of the house.
Right.
But the solar guys we deal with, they have to be able to put the panels on and get them off so we can deal with the roofs and all. But what's really coming are the solar roof that's coming. Telsa's got one out and just coming out, and that's something that's something of the future coming where your whole house, your shingle, it'll look like shingles, but the whole house is going to be a solar panel, and it's going to be all energy efficient throughout for the whole thing, and it's going to be it's a couple years down the road getting over to the east coast, but those guys out west are starting to put it out there a little bit and see how it goes. So we're pretty interested in that product coming down the road as well.
Yeah, that's really neat, and that's on my personal vision list as well. I've been driving that Tesla every now and then.
Yep.
Go kind of let myself be in that world, right?
Yeah,
Test it.
they already have the box for it, and the panels are coming out now. So I mean it's down the road. It's not going to impact any of us for a little while, but that's the future.
Stay with us. More from our expert contributors, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace and making you a bit more street smart. When we come back, we're going to jump into our lightning round. We're going to get all of our expert contributors here to give us their top tips, things to do, things to avoid to help you live a better life. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUE to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty, and giving a big shout out to Smart Move Moving and Storage, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Hannah and her team over at Smart Move Moving and Storage. They are our official moving partner for all of your local moves. And also a big shout out to Healthy Gourmet, Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet, organic veggies, all natural proteins delivered fresh 3 times a week. Big shout out to Felicia Lacaille, partner on the Quarterback Show, delivers these awesome meals to me, and they taste so good. And for $90 a week, you can be on a plan like this as well. 10 meals for $90 a week, meal plan starting at that. Optimal Fuel, Optimal Performance, Healthy Gourmet. Reach out to our hotline at 813-917-1894. Let us know anything that we can do to help you. Our Consumer Advocate hotline, 813-917-1894. Also, program in and save our website, bookmark our website, consumerqb.com.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way.
All right, also want to invite you to a free digital marketing and business growth seminar Friday the 21st right here at iHeartRadio, 3 to 5:30, and it's at iHeart 4002 West Gandy Boulevard here. Now, it's a digital marketing seminar, business growth. We're going to have a action coach, Patrick Leask, is going to be here and talking about business growth. We're also going to have Carl with Rhymes Media, who's going to be talking about digital marketing, how you can beat your competition online. And it's all about these smartphones nowadays. You got to be mobile on your websites, your click-to-calls, all of that great stuff. So it's an awesome opportunity to come out and learn more to earn more. Friday, April 21st, 3 to 5:30 at iHeartRadio here in South Tampa, as well as at 5:30, we're taking it over to Hula Bay. Going to have a nice little happy hour over there, some great networking with some of our show partners, and you got to check it out and submit the form at consumerqb.com to engage us. Submit the form, consumerqb.com. All right, we're going back over here to Chuck Peterson. He's the executive director of Suncoast Roofing. He's a roofing expert. And Chuck, so we were talking about solar. Solar, we talked about Tesla, some of the things they're doing in that space. What else are you seeing? What's some of the things happening in the forefront as well?
Well, I mean, I don't know about the forefront as far as what's coming, as far as that's going to be the big leap. But the thing that's different now, we'll say, than 10 years ago is the products that we have now are much better than what we had 10 years ago for the roofing industry. The codes have made shingles much better, tile much better, and the metal. I mean, the requirements, the wind loads, what we have to do to put a roof on your house, the requirements are much stronger.
The straps.
The hurricane straps are for the builder side, but
right.
We actually have a product that we put under the shingles. In the old days, you had the old tar paper and the felt paper that went under there.
Yep.
Now we have a product called Peel and Stick that basically seals your house up.
Wow.
So that if the shingles come off in a storm or the metal comes off, the water can't get in. Your insurance company will give you a little reduction in your homeowner's insurance,
nice.
Which your guys should like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of improvements in just the standard old everyday roof in the last 5 to 10 years that if you haven't purchased a roof, which you wouldn't have had in 10 years or so, it's going to be a lot different nowadays than it was, back then.
Yeah, and if you do have a leak, don't necessarily jump to the worst case scenario. Oh, I got to do a re-roof, and some of these other contractors, they're unscrupulous contractors out there may try to talk you into a complete re-roof. What you got to do is examine it because you could just go down to underlayment, right?
Yeah, well, it could be the underlayment, it could be just something around a vent came loose.
Yep.
I mean, we do repairs all the time, so we can come out there and look at it, and if it's a big issue, then we'll talk about a roof. But if not, there's a lot of times we can just fix a little thing and keep moving.
Skylights or another.
Skylights, sun tunnels,
yep.
Everything that penetrates your roof.
Yep.
Satellite dishes.
Yeah.
They move those satellite dishes and they leave those screw holes.
Yep.
Got to be able to take care of that.
Try to caulk them up. They throw a little caulk in there. Think that's going to get it
it's
done.
not going to handle it for long. As you know, because your guys get those.
Yeah, that's right. I'm surprised. So you said a 50-year warranty on some of these roofs?
50 years. Yeah,
wow.
It's 25 years non-prorated labor and materials through GAF. It's backed by GAF, so
man,
if we were to go out of business, and hopefully we won't, but if we were, GAF actually stands behind those warranties.
Yeah.
So the warranties that are available out there are because the products are so much better. Right. Because the codes have made everybody improve everything. So it's a lot to be said for a roof these days, where for like we were talking about, the value for your dollar.
Yeah.
You can get a pretty good value.
Yeah, absolutely. Chuck Peterson, one of the best in the business, Suncoast Roofing. Let's go ahead and jump now into our lightning round. All right, we're going to go top tips, things to do, things to avoid. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. You're up, sir.
Top tips: ask questions. Make sure the contractor knows what they're talking about.
Yep.
Make sure they're not reluctant to answer questions. However, I do have a question for you, Paul. And it comes across my plate quite often. The homeowner would like me to cover the compressor with either screen or aluminum. I'm reluctant. I've heard where in some cases it affects the warranty of the product. What's your thinking on that?
No, it'll definitely affect the warranty. It'll affect the airflow through the condensing unit. And you definitely don't want to do that. You definitely want to have free airflow through that condensing unit. It cuts down on your efficiency. It'll cost you more to operate the unit, and it shortens the life of the unit.
That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up because, you think it's kind of one of those counterintuitive things. You think by throwing a little platform over it, but what you're saying, Paul, is it's not going to pull as much air in.
It won't pull as much air in, and it'll end up making your compressor die sooner than it should.
Restrict the airflow. Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, Paul, top tips, things to do, things to avoid.
One of the top tips I can give anybody that's looking for any kind of work to be done is hire a Florida licensed contractor. There's a lot of 2 men in a truck programs out there, and it's definitely not beneficial to you. It may save you money in the short run, but in the long run, it's definitely going to hurt you.
What's the best way to verify that? You go BBB. What do you do?
You can go to there's a website in Florida that you can go to, and it tells you if they're licensed contractors.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I was going to follow up behind Paul's.
My Florida license, right?
Yeah, or Sunbiz.
Sunbiz. Check out the company. Yep. Check out the corporation online. Yep. Yeah. All right. Chuck, top tips, things to do, things to avoid.
I'm with these guys. I mean, if you're a consumer, you have to ask questions to the guy that's sitting in front of you to make sure he actually knows what he's talking about, and then you have to follow up on your own behind that. Do some research, make sure the company's solid.
Yeah, that's right. And I would add something in here as a tip that I see in real estate as well is avoid Craigslist, avoid some of these scams that you find online. I mean, when it happens, I see it a lot. I get the call sometimes, hey, what they'll do is they'll replicate my real estate listing for sale, a for sale listing, and then they'll turn around and try to rent it out. Or, so it's a scam. Somebody's posing as the owner, and it'll be a great deal. It'll be something that's about 50% of what the rent normally would be. And then, the poor victim is going to mail in their check to a P.O. box, or and they're going to lose that money. So be careful about that. Do your research, and be careful with the handyman too. The handyman, that's something as well. When we have Jason Avery on the show, he talks about that as well, and kind of warning of that handyman who's not, many cases, not licensed. He's not going to be covered under workman's comp if he were to fall down the stairs or something like that happens. I think we got time enough to do one more round, Fred.
Well, Chuck, this applies to your business as well, and you also, Paul, to your installers. Remember, never come down the ladder the way you went up.
Yeah.
Head first.
Yeah.
Head first.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
a very true statement there.
Yeah.
As far as air conditioning goes, don't necessarily go with the cheapest person. Always shop around. Cheaper isn't always better. Bigger definitely isn't better in the state of Florida because there's a lot of humidity issues. The larger if you oversize your air conditioner, it's not going to pull the humidity out of your house like it's supposed to, and you're going to be uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you said earlier about treating the indoor quality, the air and quality, and I definitely want to talk to you about that. Chuck?
I'll go with, you were talking about insurance, both of us there for a minute, but you can ask your contractor or the insurance. We have a set certificate that shows our insurance. As a consumer, you can request that from any contractor we got sitting in the room.
Right.
We can show you all that stuff that's there where a 2 men in a truck cannot.
Yeah, that's so important. Whatever you're doing out there, make sure you want to research that decision and follow up with those questions and prepare, and then make sure you write it down, take notes, and keep a journal. I think that happens a lot. We talk to the attorneys. when they're in studio, they talk about making sure you document everything, because you walk into something happens, you end up in court, you walk in there and you'd say, hey, I've got my journal here, Judge. This is where he said this, and I wrote this down, and I went to that website and I verified it. Here's the screenshot that I took. I printed this page out, and it's all chronological order. So helping you win in any marketplace. I want to thank Paul Bundschu, sales manager, One Stop Cooling and Heating, Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, as well as Chuck Peterson, executive director, Suncoast Roofing. I want to thank all of our listeners, all of our folks behind the scenes helping put this show together and everything that goes into it. I want to remind you about our event coming up on the 21st as well, Friday the 21st, 3 to 5:30, Digital Marketing and Business Growth Seminar right here at iHeart. All you have to do is give us a call or a text, and we'll help you get registered for that at 813-670-7372, 670-REQB, or submit the form at consumerqb.com. That's our website. Just click on the contact form, and please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as packing up leftover food, taking it with you to and from your commute to work, handing it to that person that you see on the side of the road that may be hungry or in need, and be a force for good in the community. Go out there and volunteer and donate your time and help out a little bit around the Tampa Bay market. We know you will. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
Don't forget, Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Visit realestateradiotampa.com or text the word VALUED to their consumer advocacy hotline at 813-917-1894. Call Brandon today, 813-917-1894.